Well, hello there, my friend, and welcome to this week's broadcast. I am Anne LaFollette, and I'm a surface pattern designer, an online educator, and a creative entrepreneur. And I am here this week to do a little bit more mindset coaching. And today's topic is how to move from a mindset of fear to a mindset of abundance. And the reason that this is a really important topic for us creatives is because there's a sort of a history of people thinking that artists would always be starving, right? There's even sort of the starving artist expression. And that really comes from a place of scarcity. And sometimes scarcity is also based in fear. And what I want to talk to you today about is 3 ways to kind of think about your creativity in a way that's much more abundant, that will allow you to move forward with more joy and with less fear. So the first concept is that when you are feeling that you are in this place of scarcity, when you think about how you might be able to sell your artwork, or when you think about how whether or not there's going to be possibilities for you, the way you can think about that is from a place of, oh my goodness, there isn't going to be room for me, right? It's the market must be saturated. There's so many people who are doing surface design. There's not going to be a spot for me because I won't be able to be differentiated enough because there's so many people who are already in the space. And so that is really kind of coming from a place of fear and scarcity. And so what I would rather have you do is think about the fact that there are so many possibilities, that there's definitely many possibilities for you. And the way I like to think about that is if you look around yourself right now and you see patterns on everything, and as you become a surface pattern designer and you spend more time honing your skills, you're going to see patterns everywhere. You're going to see patterns, for example, in the rocks under your feet when you're on a walk. You're going to see patterns in the way in which leaves are hanging from a tree branch. You're also going to see patterns on the rug under your feet, or on the sweater that you're wearing, or on the notebook that you just picked up at the art supply store. And so that resonated so much for me when I got started in this path of becoming a service designer, that there's so many possibilities because so many products in the world require a pattern on them. And so as a result, that's much more of an abundance thinking than thinking that, well, there's so many people who are doing this already. There's clearly not going to be space for me. So think about it that way. Don't think about it in terms of that because the industry has so many people who are in it that you won't find a spot. Think about the industry is huge, so there is a spot for you, right? Because you're unique and what you have to offer is unique. And so there's a spot for that in the marketplace. So that's the first idea I wanted to share with you. Now, the second one is really all around this fear of, yes, I'm creating a lot of artwork and I know I'm supposed to put it out in the world, but if I put it out in the world, it might get stolen. And again, that is coming from this sort of place of scarcity or place of fear. And what's really important, and Austin Kleon says this in his book, Show Your Work, that you have to put yourself out there because otherwise no one will find you, right? And so one great example of this is that there's some very successful people in surface design who got their start by posting on Instagram, just to use that as one example. And they would post their work, and then an art director would see them and contact them through direct messaging and say, hey, I really like this piece, would love to do a project with you. And if you hadn't put your artwork out that way, you would never be found. The other thing, too, is it's a great way for you to get feedback to see what's resonating with the audience at large. And being worried about whether something is going to get stolen or not is really actually giving power away from yourself, right? It's moving power to the person who might out there be looking to steal something from you. I want you to take that power back. I want you to feel like you can stand in your own power and put your artwork out there. And there's more where that came from, right? You're going to continue to create more. You're going to continue to evolve your style. You're going to grow as an artist and stay in that abundant mindset so that you can move away from fear. So the last idea I'd like to share with you is this concept of sort of overwhelm, that there are too many steps in the process to go from being an artist to actually selling successfully or learning how to use Adobe Illustrator and creating repeating patterns and then finding a licensing contract. And that it can be really, you can have the sense of overwhelm. And while that's not necessarily coming specifically from a place of scarcity, it is coming from a place of fear, right? It's coming from a place of fear that I'm not going to be able to manage it, that I'm going to quit, that I'm not going to be able to stick with it. And one of my favorite expressions is that we can do hard things. And another thing that is really, really helpful is don't think about step number 100. Just focus on what's exactly in front of you right now and the very next step. And you've heard these expressions from, many times, I'm sure, in your life about baby steps, right? It's just take baby steps. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get it going, which is one of Ryan Levesque's favorite expressions. I think that Jeff Walker loves to say, baby steps, my friend, one step at a time. And my dear friend and mentor, Amy Porterfield, likes to use this, we can do hard things, right? We just have to break it down into small pieces and do it one step at a time. And that has been incredibly helpful for me. And I talked a little bit about this last week about how, I'm not necessarily that tech savvy, but I can break technology down into little teeny baby steps so that I can finally master it. And the sense of empowerment when I'm able to do that, and the sense of I am taking the power back because I can do it. It gives you this sense of abundance and that, yes, you can do it. So I hope that these ideas are helpful in terms of moving you from a place of either scarcity or fear over into this abundant mindset. Because first of all, it frees you. You get a sense of more space even in your body when you're coming from a place of abundance. And it's much more joyful. So I always like to say in closing that I am Anne Follett, and it's never too late to create. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week. If you enjoyed this broadcast, please go to my website, AnneLafolletteArt.com. What you see on screen is the cover image that you see as soon as you land on the website. And all the way at the bottom, you can follow me on Instagram at AnneLafolletteArt. And there's a link there for you to click on. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Anne LaFollette, and you can click on the subscribe button and then hit that little bell so that you're notified the next time I have a broadcast for you.